thousands of years, the Ten Rings gave our family legendary power.
All right, so Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Yes.
Such a great movie.
Excellent movie.
Fantastic.
Excellent movie. The whole entire movie felt like a piece of art. From the costumes to the sets to whatever live locations they shot on. All of it was amazing.
Yeah, so good. The plot was amazing.
Yes.
The story was really good. They did a really good job of constructing it and having it feel believable, even though it was a mystical story.
Yes.
It had the elements being mystical. It still felt believable. It was a great origin story.
Yeah. Like, I was able to believe how they got to every point of the story. Like, I feel like sometimes in movies, it's like, we need the character to get over here, so we just have to throw something to make it happen.
And it doesn't make sense all the time.
Make sense, or it's kind of just like, well, that was lame, or it's like, oh, well, obviously they're going to do that. And
or, on the other hand, it's just rushed. So it's just like, from 1 second they're over here, and the next second it's the end of the movie.
Which
like,
is like
oh,
a complete letdown at times.
Why would you do that?
Yeah. Right. I think the transitions to everything made sense to me. So I really enjoyed that.
The story development was great. I loved how, in typical fashion with origin stories, they flip back to, back before the person is who they become, and then they, jump to the present day and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes it can be a little bit disorienting.
Yeah.
But it just flowed.
It did.
Yeah.
And it felt like it was natural and it was supposed to happen. So, great job to the writers and whoever put it together in the order that they put it together. It was really good.
Definitely one of the best origin stories.
It's in my top 5 origin story movies in regards to Marvel. With regards to Marvel.
Right.
In regards to Marvel, it might even be in my top 5 favorite movies. Honestly, it might have booted something out because I enjoyed it that much. Like, I would have, stayed in the theater again and watched it again.
I would have snuck behind a chair
just
to be like, okay, I'm in here.
Right.
I'm not leaving.
Yes. I have to see it again. It was really, really
Absolutely.
good.
For sure.
And Awkwafina.
So great.
She's amazing. I love her. Her comedic timing is everything. So good.
That was perfect casting for that role.
Absolutely.
The whole cast.
Honestly.
Was really
the
good.
whole cast. It was a great representation, I feel like, and I enjoyed that. The cast was predominantly Asian. You
barely saw any other races, which I think
makes sense.
It makes
because
sense.
this is what the story is about. It's not about
anybody else.
Yes.
There was no white savior moments. I enjoyed that a lot.
Right, because that's something that really irritates me with other stories is that they'll have this Asian story and they're talking about some legend that deals with their culture, and then here comes some white guy, some black guy, some other guy that has to be the one, like, I'm the one that has the power to come save you, and it's like, you know nothing about this. So I really appreciate that it was like, this is our culture, we save ourselves, we don't need anybody else.
Right.
Yes. And then I think my favorite moment is the introduction of his parents when they first met, and that how they choreographed that whole thing was just so beautiful. I loved that the most. Honestly,
they literally looked like they were dancing.
Yeah, they did, and there's like you could see the moment that he was just like, "Oh, this is my girl," because he
was impressed.
Yes.
Like, he was impressed.
He feels
I
like
leaned over
like,
to listen, and I was like, "Oh, they falling in love."
Oh God, yeah.
And she was like, "Well, he's falling in love."
Yes, for sure. Yes,
because he's like, this being that can't die or just can't be beat, and here's this woman that he's never met. And he's trying to come up on her territory, and she is beating him.
Right, and exactly thinking about, like, he had already been around for centuries, you know what I mean? So he was used to being the strongest person in whatever fight he was in, especially having his ring. So, to kind of meet his match, it was like, oh, okay, you got a little something going on too. All right, we can talk about it.
And the fact that, she knew stuff that he didn't know, and he went there, Talao. He went there to learn something, and it's like, here it is, I'm teaching you. Like, you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, no, absolutely nothing. You got these little rings, but I got more.
I got more.
And it's better.
It's better.
It was really great. But yeah, the choreographed fight scenes throughout the entire movie, in my opinion, were superior.
They were so fluid.
Everything was like... I feel like sometimes you watch these action movies and you can kind of see the actors, especially if they stay in the scene versus a stunt double. You can kind of see them like 1, 2, 3 punch type. Like, you know what I mean? Sometimes it feels a little bit robotic. And it doesn't look like you've been training for this your whole life and this is what you do. You can tell that you're a person acting in this role.
Right.
But
that it was choreographed.
But in this movie, it was like, oh no, this is what you do off screen and on screen. Like, this is your life. And it looks great.
Ben Kingsley was such a lovely surprise to this movie.
He is a gem.
I had no idea that he was going to be in it. Although thinking that he was an Iron Man and he was the one saying that he was the legend with these 10 rings. And, he tried to say he was that person and he wasn't.
Right.
And I don't know if because I don't be paying attention sometimes. I don't know if I associated the Mandarin and the 10 rings, even though I'm sure they said it, and I know they said it in the movie, like he explained who he was and stuff. I don't think I held on to that piece of information that both were associated. And so when the dad was telling the story, I was like, oh yeah, that's okay. That's supposed to be you,
right?
But it ain't you.
No, I think I mostly caught on to just from watching other theory videos where people are like, "That's who he's supposed to be," and I was like, "Oh, okay, I understand."
But yeah, him being in the movie
Trevor
was a delight. He was a delight.
Right. Going back to the visuals, when they showed all of the creatures that were at Tallahassee, amazing.
Very much Fantastic Beasts.
Very much.
Very
much.
Right, like the lion thing that was at the village. I immediately thought of that.
Yep. I was like, okay, y'all got a little, Wizarding World up in here too. I see. That's nice. That's nice. I like that. But it definitely gave you the feeling, or me, a feeling of wanting to, like, what is this place? I want to go there and let it exist for real. Yeah. Because it was so beautiful.
And the music, the score of this
so
movie
good.
was so good. From beginning to end, it was just
beginning to end. It gave you a vibe, like, while I was watching certain scenes, depending on what the song was they were playing, I was like, well, I mean, I move all the time when I hear music, but I was like in the theater swaying back and forth, like, okay, I might have to check the soundtrack out after, the movie's over, because it was that good.
Wong.
What was he doing at this fight club?
First of all, sir, why are you here?
Why are you here?
And who brought you here? And where did you go when you left?
Right. And you brought this little monster thing with you, like that's normal for you to hang around monsters.
Like, y'all just friends.
Yeah. Like,
I don't get it. I don't know why he's there. We found out that he's at Camertage.
Right.
That's how you say it?
Camertage and not at Sanctum Sanctorum.
Right. So, what is happening? Where's Steven?
Where's Steven?
Like y'all not running together no more? Y'all not friends no more?
Right. You had the first post-credit scene where we see Dr. Banner and we see Captain Marvel, and they're trying to figure out what's going on with the rings, what it is. I mean, it makes sense with their expertise why they were there, but you would think Doctor Strange would be there.
Right there in the mix.
He needs to know what this is.
So something's happening. I'm feeling like he might already be lost in the multiverse.
Something, right. We need to know what this timeline is. Where exactly does this fall? We know it's after Endgame. Yeah. But where...
Is it after Spider-Man? Is it before... I don't know.
Where is it? And then it dawned on me way after the movie that Dr. Banner is... He's Dr. Banner. He's Bruce. Banner. Yeah. He's
not Dr. Hulk.
He's not Professor Hulk.
Professor Hulk, excuse me.
So it's like, what happened? Because I remember they showed him in the sling, and I was like, wait, what happened to him? And you reminded me, it's like, oh, yeah. But it was later on, I was like, wait, he still should be...
Green.
Oh, green.
Why is he no green?
Why is he no green? Why no green? Like, what's going on there? So again...
what has been happening that we have not seen?
Right.
Like, I need to know what's going on.
Right, because after Tony's funeral, he was still Professor Hulk. So, where are we in the timeline? What's going on?
Yeah, how far ahead was that post-credit scene, I guess? Was it right after?
Oh, I think 2 weeks, because they said you guys.
Yeah.
Oh no, the friend was like, I know 2 weeks ago I said this to you guys, so only 2 weeks have passed between that time, but we still don't know how far when Shang-Chi actually starts. We just know it's after Endgame,
right?
Because the friend made that comment about we know that half the Earth, half the universe, whatever like that can snap or go away. But we still don't know how soon. And, you know, when Wong had his little thing and he was showing the rings,
yeah,
you know, he was saying that it's not of this universe. It had that tracker in there.
Right.
And even his aunt was saying that, you know, we were sent here to protect this universe. You know, like, this is your universe. So they've kind of know that there are multi-universes, but didn't really acknowledge that there's multi-universes. But I'm just wondering where in this whole madness, like, when does it start? You know, there's been several things in the past shows that we've seen where people thought, oh, that's what triggered it.
Yeah.
But who was the real trigger? I mean, I guess we kind of know that it's Loki, but when Kang gave up his power, you know, we saw the timelines branching behind him. So I'm just wondering, all these little events that have happened where everyone's like, oh, that started it. Those were part of, like, the branches or something. Or...
Yes, I'm curious to know, like, when, because the TVA works outside of time.
Right.
When the branches on the timeline happened, is that, like you were saying, is that the same time as Shang-Chi now?
Right.
Or could something else that, like, are there just other things happening that are, like, this is a nexus moment or whatever, starting here, starting there, and it's just like it's coincidental that all these things are happening around the same time.
And it's like Wong said that we didn't. He said he felt it in Comertage when he used the ring for the first time. So
maybe there's something special about Shang-Chi because the dad has been using it for centuries. Right. And it doesn't seem like they ever heard of the rings prior to now. So
that's interesting.
But I'm like, I wonder what that means.
Right. Because he has his father who had the rings, his mother who was just one of the protectors. So
I wonder, because they're multidimensional beings, the mother's people, because Shang-Chi is half of that. I wonder if there's something in addition to him having the rings, like something within his DNA that caused Wong to be able to sense that, like him using it because of who he is in addition to the rings caused, like, oh, there's a disturbance in the forest type situation.
And then we were also wondering why the colors changed when it went from his father to him. What does that mean?
What does that mean?
I got like Harry Potter vibes with their wands.
So their wands.
Like imagining Voldemort and Harry going against each other. So.
And I mean, I did notice that the weapons that they used were kind of like reddish orange, that color. They were using like I think they said dragon scales or something like that for their weapons. So maybe because he is part of them, you know what I mean? Maybe that's why.
Yeah, I don't know.
Very interesting. Marvel always leaves us with lots of questions and no answers. More questions than we went in with.
Right. Oh, well, there's the final end credit scene with the sister.
Oh yeah.
So, is she going to turn against him? Is she going to be an enemy, or is she going to be an ally? Right. Because, you know, he said she's going in to shut his business down, but she clearly was not shutting anything down. She was remodeling.
And because, I mean, they come from the same parents, I know we posed the question, like, what makes him worthy of having the rings versus her having the rings? Right. So, in a future movie, will that be a conflict that they have? Does she feel like she deserves to have the rings because she went through hell with, you know, sticking by the father and all that kind of stuff, or, until she was 16. Right. Or will she be like an anti-hero? I'll lend help when I feel like it benefits me. But other than that, don't call me. Right. Don't call my phone.
Right. Because we were saying it, like, they kind of mended, but really didn't.
It was like they mended fences well enough for them to work together in this fight to save, you know, their hometown. Right.
But they don't know each other.
They don't.
So there's a lot of,
they got
a lot to work out.
So yeah, it looks like she's the big boss now. Looks like she Bowser in the realm of stuff. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know what that means for the future. Right. She looked very villainous to me. So.
And she sat down just like her daddy did, she just on the opposite side.
Boss ass.
Yeah. So I kind of, now I'm just like, everything means something. So like,
it has to.
When her dad sat in that chair, he leaned this way. She sat in the chair, she leaned the other way. Like,
so that means he's gonna be on the right side of the law.
Something.
But they was toting guns and stuff. I don't trust it.
Oh no.
They had the firepower.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like, in my interpretation of that is, the way my dad leaned, this was a man-dominated thing.
It's a new day.
And here I'm leaning this way, and I've got men and women fighting, training.
Yeah.
And you know, when they showed the women and they
Yes.
was training, I did cheer. And then I was like, they might be bad, so I'm going to stop.
Mm-hmm.
But also, go girl, go.
Go, girl, go. Yes.
Exactly.
I love seeing that.
I love that part where her aunt she was watching them train, and I was like, hey, you know, this is not your father's compound, this is not your father's place. We train everybody equally here.
Yes. The messages in this movie was so good.
Can we talk about it?
So good. Like when Awkwafina was trying to learn how to shoot the
arrows.
The arrows. She was so nervous, and they told her, what was it? If you
aim at nothing, you'll hit nothing.
Mm-hmm. Like that, it'll hit you.
It's real. I mean, it's real.
It's real.
Mm-hmm.
It applies to so many things in life. Like if you don't have a plan, if you go in blindly, or if you're just floating through life, if you don't put forth any effort, you will have no results. You will reap no rewards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So go after your goals.
Message.
I felt like I really related a lot to Katy and Shang-Chi when they were talking about pretty much like, you know, we're happy with our jobs. Yeah, we're valets, but we're happy. And I always feel like, you know, when I look at other adults, I'm like, I don't feel like an adult. Like, should I be doing that? Is that what it means to be an adult? So they were just so relatable.
Yes.
In that moment.
They were definitely real characters. Two young adults, basically doing what every young adult or every adult in this world is doing, winging it essentially. Yeah. I'm gonna do what feels good and what feels right, and when that thing no longer feels good or right, then I can switch to something else. But I don't have a plan. I don't have the answers. I'm gonna just see what happens. Yes. So I'm gonna just go with it and see what happens. But yeah, definitely relatable. Oh, I'm also curious how Shang-Chi is going to fit in to the world of Marvel going forward. Like, what role will he play? Is he part of the new Avengers? Are the new Avengers, like, young? Is it the Young Avengers?
The Young Avengers, I think.
So I'm like, is he young enough to be in the Young Avengers?
I feel
or
like the
is
Young
he just going
Avengers
to be, like,
teens? So.
Okay. So yeah, I'm wondering what kind of role he'll play. If he'll be an integral member of the group. Like, how Sam is just around. Like, he comes in on the fights and stuff like that. He doesn't, like, go off and do his own thing. Like, he's just plugged in all the time. I wonder if that'll be his thing, or if he's like, I have some other stuff to fight over here with my rings. I'll be back if you need me, call me. Right. I would like him to be, like, a major fixture going forward. Yeah.
I feel like he has to be, especially if they're bringing in Wong. And he's been introduced to these other characters, and they want to figure out what it means. Yeah. With this ring and this beacon, like why is there like this tracker, this beaker thing on this now? What does that mean?
Do you think we'll see him in the Multiverse of Madness?
Maybe.
I hope so.
I would be here for that.
Because I feel like the way they talked about the rings at the end kind of gives you a little hint that it has something to do with more than just what's happening here on Earth. Right. Well, obviously, because they realize that the rings are not of Earth. Right. So I feel like he has to... I'm like, I don't think he can time travel, but he can fly a little bit. Like, don't let him...
Right. And not even just of Earth, of the universe. Of their universe. So I feel like they said universe too many times in the movie
for it to not mean anything.
Not to mean anything. You know, whether that means Multiverse of Madness, if we're going to see, I don't know if he'd be in the Eternals or an end credit scene with the Eternals or what that means. Or even in Spider-Man. I mean, Wong's the connection there. Maybe something happened and Wong's like, hey, Shang, I need you. Maybe. Katy, I need you.
I'm very curious how this all ties in to this next phase.
Yeah, I'm excited to get the timeline together.
Yeah. If I can get the timeline, then I can be like, I can get everything in order. Like, I know what's going to happen next.
Right.
Maybe not. Marvel is crazy that way. But
I just
still,
don't want to have to wait to see him until the next Shang-Chi movie. Like, give him to me now.
Thank you. We're going to get another one.
For sure.
Excitement.
Yes.
Excitement.
But...
Because it's going to be better. And
yeah,
great. Like it's very hard for me to believe because Marvel has the budget. It's very hard for me to believe that they would fumble the ball on a sequel of something of this caliber.
Right?
It won't happen.
It better not.
It won't happen.
It won't. I have faith in them. I've learned my lesson in doubting them for something.
Right.
They continue to get better.
They do. Yes. They really do.
I don't know the last time I was let down by a Marvel movie. I mean, this year they've been consistently great.
Yeah.
Loved WandaVision. Love Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Love Loki. Love Black Widow.
Yeah.
Love What If.
Loving What If. So.
God,
they don't
it's
miss,
funny
man.
because I was thinking about how, I mean, we didn't go see Black Widow in the theaters because COVID, but.
That's true. I mean, it's still there. There's still time to go.
Yeah, but I mean, I was just thinking about how, like, this was the first Marvel movie. I was so excited when the song played in the beginning. I was like,
in
the
theater.
First time in the theater watching a Marvel movie. And I was like, I'm back. But then I thought about it. I was like, I've been watching Marvel all year long.
Yeah.
It's like, that is wild.
I think almost every month we've had something, I feel like.
Yeah.
Or every other month. Yeah, we've had something. So it's just like, wow.
It's been a good year. It's been a good year so far.
Yeah. And I even feel like, just saying how I don't know if last time I was disappointed. Even going back and watching older movies where originally I was disappointed, going back I'm like, it's really not that bad. Like Dark World, Thor Dark World, when it first came out I was like, this is horrible. But we've recently have gone back and watched it and I'm like, it's not as bad as I remember.
I think also too because now that we know what we know now,
true,
it's pieced all together.
Yeah. Greater context matters.
Yes.
Okay, because when I first started watching Marvel movies, I had no idea. I was not aware of the Marvel universe. I wasn't aware of comic books. I didn't realize that, like, the Spider-Man cartoons I watched growing up were Marvel. Like, nothing connected to me. It was like a cartoon that I enjoy, so I'm going to watch it. But I never thought deeper than that. So now that I'm, like, fully in this universe, like, fully committed, going back to watch how they... It's genius.
Yes.
I'm obsessed.
The little things.
I'm obsessed with the way their minds work because seeing how you were in Iron Man, and from Iron Man you thought about what Spider-Man Far From Home was going to be in Iron Man. Like, what?
Right.
How did you? How?
Crazy.
It's great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think that there are any, with the knowledge I have now, I don't think that there are any movies that. I don't really like the Hulk. I'm just put that out there.
I mean, like the Hulk, it's part of it. It's not part of it. It's kind of there's an asterisk next to it.
I'm just not a fan of that one, but I still don't mind watching it in the greater context of the universe.
Like, I mean, honestly, when Captain America came out, I didn't really enjoy it the first time. I thought it was really long and it was just pointless. But just watching it over and over again because it's part of the universe, it's like, no, I actually enjoy this. Yeah. I need to give Iron Man 3 a chance because I did not like Iron Man 3.
I've given it several chances and still don't like it. Okay.
I'm going to try it again now that I have more context and then we have Ben Kingsley. Like, I might, I'm going to try again.
Good luck.
Thank you. I'm going to need it.
So if y'all enjoyed the movie, drop in the comments what your favorite part was. Any predictions you have, leave them down below so we can start speculating with y'all because I'm trying to figure out the whole rest of Phase 4. I want to think about it all the way to the end. I want to have all the answers. So help us down there.
Yes. How does this tie into Fantastic Four? You said Phase 4, my mind immediately went there. So somehow it's connected.
We got to get there. It's going to get there.
Now I'm like, was there anything in this movie that connects to the Fantastic Four? I don't know. But there's so much that we got mutants coming. Come on. And we can say mutants. That's what they are.
We can say it now.
They're not enhanced beings. So, all right.
It's about to be a crazy ride. It is. Y'all let us know what you think down in the comments, and we'll see y'all in the next one.
Okay.
Bye.